ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ हरि ओं सुप्रभातम्। ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 30 ॐ ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रश्चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः अमृतांशूद्भवो भानुः शशबिन्दुः सुरेश्वरः औषधं जगतः सेतुः सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः भूतभव्यभवन्नाथः पवनः पावनो नलः कामः कामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदः प्रभुः युगादिकृद्युगावर्तो नैकमायो महाशनः अदृश्यो व्यक्तरूपश्च सहस्रजिदनन्तजित्. We will chant this again. युगादिकृद्युगावर्तो नैकमायो महाशनः अदृश्यो व्यक्तरूपश्च सहस्रजिदनन्तजित्. Yugadikrit. We have hit the 3rd century of the Namas. The 300th Nama offers a very beautiful name which says Yugadikrit. What does that mean? Yugadehe kala bhedasya kartritvat Yugadikrit. Yugadehe, one who creates the yuga, kalpa, ityadi, and so on. And as far as yuga is concerned, we have dealt with this very elaborately with all the structures as to how much is Kali Yuga, how much is Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and then Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. All this we have dealt with it elaborately. Probably you can refer it there, so I will not repeat the whole thing again. But Bhagavan is the one who has created this Chatur Yuga and all what comes under the concept of time. This is very important. Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga are one put together, one Chatur Yuga. And like that, there are innumerable, in fact, Anadi. And to us, it is Ananta also. From which standpoint? From the standpoint of Bhagavan. But from our standpoint, the concept of time ends when we become a Jivan Mukta. Until then, there is time. And even after Pralaya, when we come back, again time starts, or rather resumes. The only time when there is no time is when we reach the highest supreme. Till then the time is there, and Bhagavan is the one who is a Karta of the time. In fact, this is again a figurative expression. Bhagavan is Akarta, basically. But it is from him everything started. Therefore, he is Yugadikrit. Here, the one who created is Ishvara. We must not forget that. Brahman, from the highest standpoint, he is Akarta, Abhokta. But the one who creates here is Ishvara, Brahman plus Maya Shakti. Ishvara is not only Shiva, all the three, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all are called Ishvara only. Portfolios taken. Alright. So, here it refers to Ishvara Tattva. The word Adi, Yugadi, it is said. What does that Adi means? From our standpoint, we also must understand just not as a yuga, but also these things are included in that yuga. Centuries, years, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes and seconds. And why have we given etc. there? Even fractions of seconds are also included. So basically the concept of time. He is the one who has created time. What happens in time is a different issue. But the time itself is created by Ishvara, here Bhagavan Vishnu. Yugavartaha. Earlier nama was Yugadikrit. Now it is Yugavartaha. What is that? युगानि कृतादीनि आवर्तयति कालात्मनेति कालात्मना इति युगावर्तः. Oh, there is a spelling mistake. It should be yugavartah. One who keeps the time of, or rather cycle of time running. Meaning, as and when he creates time, the time has to keep moving smoothly. Right? Therefore, he not only creates, he also sustains. That is what the meaning is. He sustains, and the time clearly moves from Treta Yuga to Krita Yuga to Treta Yuga to Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. Again the cycle starts. The cycle keeps running, and it is said, time and tide waits for none. This is a very beautiful point here. What do we mean by saying time and tide waits for none? Once time is lost, we have lost that time. We cannot get back that time. That is a very creation. The concept of time is, once you have lost, you will never get it back. Therefore, don't waste time. Be useful, be creative, be productive. All our elders say. Why? Because time keeps flying. Time keeps moving. Even if the clock stops working, time goes on. Alright. And it is being beautifully taken forward by Bhagavan Ishvara. Naikamaya. Naikamaya meaning what? Na eka maya. Naikamayaha means the one who has more than one. In the sense, eka maya na vidyate. What do you mean by saying eka maya na vidyate? Bahvini mayaha vahati iti naika maya. The one who does not have one maya but many. Here we need to understand the word in the right perspective. Maya as a source is only one. But we see vividhani in our expression. The same maya expresses with vividhani. Vividhani meaning what? So many. Is it not? In fact, very interesting. Even in one species, two creatures are not the same. So many difference. It is easier for us to understand from our standpoint, human being standpoint. They say that there are 7 people identical. But we have only seen probably in the cinema theatres. Double role, triple role, etc., etc. But we may or may not have come across. But they say 7 people are identical. Otherwise, no 2 people are identical. Physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, with reference to standard of living, with reference to standard of life, take anything for that matter, no 2 people are the same. That is why very many people have commented, no 2 men are the same, no 2 women are the same. They don't even think alike. No 2 swamis are the same, no 2 doctors are the same. Meaning what? Each one is a unique specimen. When we say each one is a unique specimen, look at the amount of varieties. Amongst this billions of people alone, only one species I am talking about. It is the same with all these species. Even with reference to one species, there is so much of difference, there is so much of variety. At the same time, the whole universe is beautifully being carried out very well. Therefore, here it is said, Naika Maya, not one Maya, everything is different in itself, yet it goes on very beautifully because of the power, because of the beautiful way of functioning of Bhagavan as Ishvara. Mahashanaha. Ashanaha means food. Mahashanaha means the one who consumes, the one who eats, in the general way of translation. And here, kalpante sarva grasanat mahat ashanam asya iti mahashanaha. When the kalpa ends, he consumes everything. Whatever he has created, he withdraws everything. So in a manner of saying, he consumes everything. Therefore, he is called Maha Ashanaha. Mahat Ashanam. Sarvagrasanat. Sarvagrasanat, having, withdrawing everything, in a manner of saying, consuming everything. When? During the anta of a kalpa. He is called as Maha Ashanaha. Adrishyaha sarvesham buddhindriyanam agamyatvat adrishyaha. Now see, this requires a clear understanding. Our understanding of the word adrishya means that which is not seen, that which cannot be comprehended. And how it is so? Sarvesham buddhi indriyanam. How do we comprehend anything? How do we see anything? How do we listen to anything? How do we feel or taste or smell? Only through the indriyas. And they are actually only gadgets, the mind behind, the intellect behind the mind. Buddhindriyana means all the complete set of subtle body. Pancha jnanendriyas, manaha, buddhi. All put together, none of them. What here it means? We have to understand? None of them can comprehend Bhagavan. In the sense what? Bhagavan is not objectifiable. The eyes see the forms and colors. The ears sound, smell, taste, touch. None of the indriyas plus mind. First of all, mind impossible because of its restlessness. Buddhi is also so limited. Our buddhi is so limited, actually we don't even understand what it is. To that extent it is limited. With that buddhi, with that mind, with these indriyas which are so limited, how can we ever even think of comprehending Bhagavan? Think. It is like I take one small chombu and then I want to take all the water from the ocean. How is it possible? Think. Can one small vessel take all the water? It is like that. Trying to comprehend, trying to understand, trying to see that Ishvara, that Bhagavan. Therefore it says Adrishyaha, meaning indriyas. Now please note, does it mean immediately one should not jump into a pessimistic way of thinking? If he is not comprehensible, then what is the point? What is the use of all the Shastras? Shastras are meant to make me understand what Bhagavan is. Otherwise, Shastras are waste. Truly speaking, from one standpoint, Shastras cannot help. Shastras can take you only up to a certain point, and after that, it has to be swaprayatna. Even a guru cannot handle that. A guru also can only give you a push and show you the direction. When the guru shows the direction, the end of his finger is not the destination, please. He only shows his finger in a direction. Look that, look there, there. When a crescent moon is, I am not able to see a crescent moon, then somebody else help me. What is it? There, it is there. But still I cannot see. Then he says, can you see the tree there? Yes. Can you see the two branches? And in the two branches, the right branch has got three twigs, and within the first and second twig, just go through that and see. I got it. What? I saw the crescent moon. Wow, so beautiful. After 1 hour, I want to see the crescent moon. First of all, moon would have moved. And then I say, where is that tree? Where is that branches? Where are the branches? Where are the twigs? I am not able to see. In fact, it is not required. Why? Having seen the moon in a particular direction, I will be able to see the moon without the help of the tree or the branches or the twigs. Let us suppose they have cut the branch or the twig. Still I can see. Why? Because I know the direction. Similarly, Shastras can only show us the direction. Guru can only show us the direction. Even though the Guru might have experienced, still the Guru can only show the direction. And it is with Swat Prayatna I have to get the vision of the Supreme. Therefore, when Shastra or the Guru also cannot give us that experience, then how important is that experience? Therefore, it is from that standpoint, Shastra say, Adrishyaha, he cannot be comprehended. At the same time, he is available also. It all depends on how much can I visualize from within. It is definitely, obviously not available for our external gadgets. But through the internal gadget, Mandukya Upanishad says, na iti vakyataha. It cannot say this. No Shastra can point out and say, this, in a test tube. Now see, this is Atman. It cannot show. It can again only give us a direction from the standpoint of what I know, and from there, with a certain description, I go in the direction to find out what is that unknown. And the unknown can only be seen through the known. Therefore, knowing, visualizing, having the experience of the world is also important to a certain extent that it gives us a direction to see what I have not yet seen. And once I see, this is another one excellent thought. Again, everything is thoughts only. Once I realize that Supreme, then nothing remains. The world does not remain. There is no Shastra, there is no Guru, there is nothing. There is only one. That immutable, unquestionable, homogeneous presence. That alone is. But until I go there, it is not something which can be available for us to see. Therefore, from that standpoint, from a common man's standpoint, from an ego standpoint, from an individual standpoint, Bhagavan is Adrishyaha. He cannot be comprehended. He cannot be known through the normal means of knowledge. We have seen the various means of knowledge. What are they? Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, and the last one, Shabda Pramana. First 5 can never give you that experience. The 6th one can show you the direction. Even Shabda Pramana, where Shastras are brought in, Shastras can also only give you a certain way of thinking. Prajnanam Brahma. Ayam Atma Brahma. Which is that Atma? That without which I cannot function, because of which I am what I am. Minus which I am calcium, carbon, phosphorus. Shastras can give description, but it cannot give you the experience. Therefore, Adrishyaha, it cannot be comprehended. Vyaktarupaha, this is what I said. The previous Nama said, Adrishyaha, you cannot see. And immediately, very next, Vedanta is full of such contradictions. Immediately he says, Vyakta Rupaha, it is manifested. Sthula Rupena Vyaktam Swarupamasya iti Vyakta Rupaha. Now, from my standpoint, what does the Shastra say? You are that Brahman, Tat Tvamasi. And how do I realize that? Having taken this birth, I come to understand this body, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta, is functioning efficiently in the world outside. It must have something behind. It must have some power behind. It must have some energy behind, because of which this gadget is functioning. If a bulb is lit, that means it must have a power behind. Think. Without power, gadget cannot function. It is only a matter. Think. That energy which enlivens this gadget, because of which the gadget is able to perform its swadharma. That energy is Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma. Now, I am able to function, I am able to speak, you are able to listen. Understanding is a different issue. I am able to speak, you are able to listen. If at all you listen. Think. How does this transaction takes place? This transaction takes place only because of the power which enlivens my ability to speak and which enlivens your ability to listen. Think. This ability is understood. Now that's the main point. I am able to understand that there is an energy within, there is a life principle within. And this life principle, the moment it goes, however great person I am, however great Shastri I am, however great Santa Purusha I am, however great role model I am, a great icon in the society I am, whatever it may be, once that energy moves out, the greatest speaker, Swami Vivekananda, cannot utter one word. A great Gita Acharya, Swami Chinmayananda, will not be able to utter one word. It is all our past which we gain, we store and we are using. But he cannot utter one word. Think. Dr. M.S. Subbalakshmi or any other greater, Gangubai Hangal, all of them, they are great singers. But as long as they are alive. Dr. S.P. Balasubramaniam, who has got into the Guinness World of Records, singing more than 40,000 songs, cannot sing one part of a single raga now. Think. All this is because of the presence, and we are aware of this presence. Are you alive? Yes, of course. I am alive. How do you confirm you are alive? Come here, I will give you one thappad. Then you will understand that I am alive. Think. This presence in me is understood by everyone, and therefore that presence is Vyakta Rupaha. It is known. The joke is, it is known yet unknown. It is not known yet known. How beautiful is this, isn't it? That is why people don't come very much near Vedanta, because it is all contradicting. Swamiji, it goes far above the head. Think. Why? Because I have not yet used the head properly to understand. Therefore, it will naturally go above my head. Is it not? He is manifesting. He is present. But I must be awake to understand. Then he is no more Adrishya Rupa, he is Vyakta Rupa. Think. Swayam Prakashamanatvat. He is because, how do I understand? Because he is self-effulgent. As I gave the example yesterday, I don't have an external gadget or an external force, an external person to tell that I am here. Is it not? When there is no light, when I am in a dark place, to understand the presence of any other thing, I require some support. I might need a light, a small torch, or somebody. Are you here? Yes, I am here, he says. But I don't see him, therefore I may ask, are you here? But I will never ask him, hello, am I here? Please check and tell me. No. Why? The very fact that I am is the presence which is ever understood. Think. This presence I am is nothing but that which manifests as my very presence. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahma matram, as what? Aham, aham, aham iti sakshat atmarupena bhati. Therefore, swayam prakashamanatvat. He is manifesting. Therefore, we can know, we shall know. All that we need to know is that presence which is independent of. Now please note, this is where the main point comes. The presence independent of the ego, jiva bhava, and all the gadgets present. He is. Therefore it is said, being self-effulgent, he is visible to the yogis only. Yoginam vyaktarupaha. Who are the yogis? The yogis are those people who have gone beyond the limitations of body, mind and intellect, and who are able to see beyond the gadgets and then experience him as the very presence in them. They have associated, they have connected themselves with the higher, therefore they are able to experience. Therefore, yoginam swayam prakashamanatvat vyaktarupaha. He is available. So don't despair, oh adrishya rupaha Swamiji, he will never be seen. And for me, impossible Swamiji. No. The very fact, the Param Pujya Gurudev says often, the atheist is able to say that there is no God because of the blessings of the God. Think. If an atheist says there is no God, then what? Shunyavadis, they say everything is shunya, but aren't they present to say that there is shunya? If they are present, where is shunya? Think. Therefore, the very experience of my own presence for myself indicates the presence of the Lord. Therefore, Vyaktarupaha. Pratibodha viditam matam, says Shruti. Upanishad says, Pratibodha viditam. Pratibodha means, I am, I am, I am. Every thought gives a knowledge. Pratibodha, every thought gives a knowledge of that thought itself first. Is it not? And this matam is what? That knowledge. Now look at that. In every piece of knowledge, he is evident as the very consciousness which is the cause for that thought. Everything is thoughts only, isn't it not? The moment I get up, I got up. Who got up first? I. Who is that I? Here it is the individual ego which says, I am Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so. Think. Master so-and-so, so-and-so. All these descriptions starts after when I started. When the I started with what? I am thought. The thought of myself, the thought of I. Once the thought of I, the Jiva Bhava comes, then the Jagat is there. Ishvara is there. And in every thought, the very possibility of the thought is only because of the presence of the consciousness. Minus consciousness, Ram Naam Satya hai. Think. Therefore, every thought is Vyakta Rupa of Bhagavan. Every thought which says, I am alive. Do you have any doubt? I am alive. Swamiji, I am alive. Are you alive? Yes, Swamiji. Swamiji, I think I am not very sure whether I am alive or not. Gurudev once said, if you have such a doubt, go and lie down in the corner of this room. 4 people will attend to you. Think. I am presence is equal to I am alive. I am present means I am alive. If I am alive, there is consciousness. If there is consciousness, I am aware of the consciousness. If I am aware of the consciousness, that consciousness is Brahman. I am Atma, Brahma. And where is it? Ask me myself. Tat Tvameva Asi. Tattvamasi. And when I realize, understand this truth, Aham Brahma Asmi. Therefore, Vyakta Rupaha. Think. For common Indriyani, Buddhi Indriyani, it is not available. But for the Antakarana which understands the presence, it is available. Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Sahasrajit. Jit means conquering, winning over, gaining control of what? Sahasrajit. Acharya says, Surarinam Sahasrani Yuddhehe Jayatiti Sahasrajit. Surarina means Sura, we all know, as Devas, then Danavas, then Rakshasas, etc., etc. Bhagavan conquers everything and everybody. It is not very difficult to understand in our Sanatana Dharma because every god, you call it Krishna, you call it Rama, you call it Vishnu, you call it Ganapati, you call it Ayyappa, you call it Devi, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Durga, obviously. Every god in Indian Sanatana Dharma is always with a weapon. Have you seen that? Every god has got a weapon. People may wonder, wow, all the gods are all very sadists. They always carry weapon and all. What is that? Yes, because they win over all the wrong thoughts. They win over all the wrong tendencies. They win over all the wrong people and establish dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come every time for what? To establish dharma and to do what? To win over adharma. Win over meaning what? Conquer. Conquering what? Removing, eliminating all that which is wrong, which is adharmic way of living and establishes dharmic way of living. How? Through jnanam. Wherever there is requirement for killing a Rakshasa, Bhagavan comes to help all the Manavas, Danavas, the Devatas. Bhagavan is ready to come. And whenever you can see, for example, right in front of me, I have very beautiful, huge picture of Sri Ramchandra ji, family photo. In family photo also, Ramchandra ji says, Gurudev very beautifully describes. All of you come, wait, where is my bow and arrow? Bring that. Now I am ready. He is ready for the photo. What? With weapons. Why is that? That weapon is eternally with him to conquer the evil. Similarly, we also must carry a weapon in the form of buddhi. Our buddhi is our weapon. And very many times, I am sure all of you will agree, however educated we are, however pious we are, however sattvic we may be, however knowledgeable we may be, mind slips. Why? At times, mind does not take the support of the intellect. Mind wants to overpower. Mind wants to overrule. At that time, when the mind is fully focused, even intelligence is helpless as though. And once we are out of the purview of the intelligence, we are bound to fall. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate pranashyati. Think. This is a ladder of fall which we have seen. There is another ladder of rise. Satsangatve nissangatvam jivan muktihi. This choice between a vishaya and satsanga, who has to decide? Mind, intellect. And when the intellect decides, we do it. When I prioritize intelligence, mind has to obey. Meaning what? Intelligence has gained the control of the mind. But what is our condition? Mind has gained control of the intelligence. Think. Therefore, there is so much of problem, so much of agitation, disturbance, etc., etc., because mind has won over the intelligence. We have allowed our mind to win over the intelligence. Think. But when I take control of both mind and intelligence, of course, when mind and intellect are under my control, I have conquered them. They are under my purview. They better work under me. And the one who has thus brought them under his control, he is a successful person. He is a hero. He is the one who has won. Sahasrajit. Think. Sahasrajit meaning what? The one who has won over hundreds of such Rakshasas. These are all Puranic stories. If you actually study, not just read, not just listen, not just utter, but if we study these stories, you will find each Rakshasa is one thought in our own mind. So you don't have to look for Rakshasas outside. Everybody are available, aplenty within. Shivananda Lahari, there is a very beautiful shloka where Acharya Shankara says, Hey Shiva, why are you going and searching for Rakshasas outside? Come. I will supply you free, plenty. Where? They are all in my mind. So best way you can do is come and settle in my heart. Once you come and settle in my heart, those Rakshasas who are there in the form of thoughts, in my mind, in my intellect, when they come, kill them. How many you want? You will have no time at all. That much of Rakshasas are there in me. Kill them. But you remain in my heart. So beautifully it says. And therefore, Sahasrajit. And then the last Nama in the shloka is Anantajit. A very beautiful explanation. Sarvani Bhutani Yuddha Kridadishu Sarvatra Achintya Shaktitaya Jayatiti Anantajit. The one who is victorious. He is always victorious. We only think that he is not looking at me, he is not seeing me. But he knows what to do, when, how and how much. He is always victorious over every being, everywhere, with his unimaginable power, invincible power. One small example is sufficient. How much ever powerful I may be, how much ever I might have gone to the gym and built up my body with only mass, only flesh, with lot of strength and bones and marrow, everything, how much ever I might have done and exercises and built up, one kshana is sufficient. Think, one kshana, Bhagavan decides, gone. Ramanam Satya hai. Who is the winner now? I might have won with so many other opponents. It need not be only physical, it can be emotional, it can be intellectual also, in any form. But one beautiful day, Bhagavan says, sorry, gone. Think. He is the ultimate winner. Anantajit. He can win over anybody. Think. Therefore, he is called Anantajit. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.